and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked way, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sins, and heal the land. Oman Ghana is calling on you, God. Secure our borders. Secure our territories. What we heard in Burkina Faso, what we heard in Togo, what we heard in Ivory Coast, indeed what we heard in other parts of the sub-region, we pray that you secure us. We know that only you can secure Ghana. As effective as our military, our police, and our security services are, unless you build, will labor in vain. And unless you become our watchman, we will struggle in vain. I pray above all things that God, in times like this, it will not be passed down, it will not be partisan at all, but we'll look at it holistically to see Ghana first. That we will come together in a massive united front to seek the security of Ghana. I pray above all things that God, you give our leaders and our security personnel the wisdom of Solomon and the boldness of David and the acceptance of Daniel to be able to discharge. And God, above all things, we also pray that we as citizens will take our responsibility. That this requires every man, every woman. I pray above all things that everything we do today, see something, say something, see something, do something, see something, act immediately. Let us look at it collectively. That if we can stand together as a nation, the enemy cannot infiltrate. I pray above all things that we'll get united like never before, so your will be done in Ghana. I bless everything we're about to do. And as we launch this program today, let it be a success story to the glory of God and to the betterment of Ghana. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Reverend. God bless you for this powerful prayer. And for all of us present, you are pretty much aware that social media today has become a very powerful tool to the dissemination of information. See something, say something is what will drive our nation and get people very committed in ensuring that the security of our society and our neighboring people are very safe. Later in the program, we are actually going to be launching the official video as well, which will be broadcasted on all media houses across the country. To set the ball rolling and to welcome all of us, may I call on Mr. Edward Kweku Asomani, Deputy National Security Coordinator, to tell us exactly why we gathered here.
Thank you, Mr. MC. On behalf of the Honorable Minister for National Security and the National Security Coordinator, let me stand on the established protocol and welcome you all to the Ministry of National Security. Indeed, it's a delight to see persons from various parts of the country and from all walks of life gathered here to launch the Ministry of National Security's Citizen Awareness Campaign dubbed See Something, Say Something. This campaign, which forms part of the ministry's broader counter-terrorism strategy, is aimed at creating awareness, regarding the threat of terrorism and encouraging citizens to remain vigilant. And also to collaborate with state security and intelligence agencies to reduce the threat of an attack in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana is rightly regarded as a beacon of hope, democracy, and stability in a highly volatile sub-region. All around us, countries in the West African sub-region have been battling the activities of terrorist and violent extremist organizations, activities that have undermined peace, stability, and security of these countries, and in some instances, rendered these states ungovernable and triggered humanitarian crisis. These groups have perpetrated violent attacks on civilian and security forces, state infrastructure, and private property. Churches and mosques have not been spared, and the heinous crimes have included kidnapping, rape, human trafficking, which has led to the displacement of millions of people. Disturbingly, an assessment of the modus operandi of these criminals have revealed that Ghana has become a target, given the country's proximity to the sea and its abundant natural resources. This has served as a pull factor. Indeed, this development could not have come at a more unfortunate time, where the relationship between governments and the governed is increasingly becoming strained across the world. Also, with the advent of social media and its attendant risk of misinformation, many are beginning to question the very values that hold society together: citizenship, statehood, patriotism, and the very democracy that we practice. It is not lost on us that this atmosphere of cynicism and apathy gives room for radicalization of persons and encourages them to take arms against the very communities that they live in and wreak havoc on society. However, in the face of terrorism, which has the potential to erase all the gains we have made as a country, it behoves us to unite and defend our beloved country, guided by the belief that the defense of our territory remains the fundamental and foremost responsibility of government. This ministry, in collaboration with all state security agencies, is prepared to go to the great lengths to execute that mandate effectively. This campaign, among other things, marks a turning point in the relationship between security agencies and the people we have sworn to protect. A new era where the security of the state is not seen just as the responsibility of a security agencies alone, but as a collective responsibility for all citizens. Again, this campaign should be regarded as a clarion call on all citizens to play their role in protecting our dear nation while keeping security agencies accountable in the fight against our common enemy. We at the Ministry of National Security are hopeful that you will heed this call, and together we protect ourselves, our families, our communities, and our dear country. Thank you all. May God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asomani. And of course, in line with contemporary, best practices, one of the most important things to do when it comes to security is to talk about security. And so this is a clear example of us, following the right path. This campaign spearheaded by the Ministry of National Security, will actually be led by the Ministry of Information. And without much ado, I call on the Information Minister, Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah.
Jefferson, thank you. The President, Senior Advisor, Ministers of State here present, Members of Parliament, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I want to first of all start by thanking in particular my colleagues in the media for the kind of attention that they've helped already to generate on this subject and for the highlighting they are giving to the commencement of activities today which seek to mobilize the entire country in our response against the risk and the threat of terrorism that we face. If we will be successful in combating the threats that we face, we need the total mobilization of our people to recognize, first of all, those risks, to be alert, and to play their part in protecting our motherland. Indeed, whenever crisis hits, be they of a health nature, be they of an economic nature or a security nature, it is only the total mobilization of the people that helps to make our response robust. You would recall when COVID hit, to be successful in responding as a country, we needed, first of all, to mobilize a total national understanding of the challenge ahead of us and the responsibility of each and every one of us in responding to it. Our data suggests that awareness was as high as beyond 80% of the kind of risk that we faced and the responses that each and every Ghanaian had to put up. It helped in our success in the battle against COVID. Today, there's a global economic crisis. This crisis hitting many nations is hitting us too. And in the very near future, we would have to have a deeper conversation to mobilize all of our people, farmers, industrialists, etc., to respond appropriately so that the increasing cost of living worldwide, which is affecting us here, can also be mitigated back home. But this morning, our focus is on the terrorism threat that we face. To get our people to understand the nature of the threat, to get our people to understand their role in helping to assist our security and intelligence agencies to respond appropriately. If we will get our people to understand, it will take you, my colleagues in the media, to help us do a deep, professional, sustained exercise of public education. And I want to call on you that as we commence from today, you make time on your various platforms to help us engage the public, not in fear, but to deepen understanding so that all can play their part. It will also take the effort of leaders of stakeholder groups, associations, religious groups, to also help us as we deepen engagement with their members. It will take the effort of people on the ground from the Information Services Department and other agencies visiting communities and groups and helping to get the message out there so that we're able to respond appropriately. Mine is simply to call on you all to play your role once again so that we can protect our republic. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Information Minister. And like the Minister said, of course, all the police handles are going to be open in terms of Twitter, Facebook. All of that will be activated. Of course, when people make calls and all that, a lot of people do not, feel very comfortable identifying themselves. When you see something untoward happening in your community, it is important that you alert either your DCE, the police service, or anybody in authority to ensure that these things are brought, to bear in one way or the other. Well, we've had about 3 speakers already. I think it is important that we take just about a minute break. I call on the police band to give us a soothing patriotic song. When you see something and you want to say something, it's 999. 999. For those of us watching us live on GTV, the nation's broadcaster, it's important that we all have our phones by us, because in the next few minutes, the official video for the See Something, Say Something campaign is going to be outdoors. It's important that for us here, we have our phones ready. We have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all social media campaigns. That's what we've done to ensure that this becomes a success. We have to be done. With that said, may I call on the Minister for National Security, Honorable Albert Kandaba, to deliver this message.
rightly articulated in their area of mass, why we have already launched one of the flagship programs of the Ministry of National Security, to see something campaign. Campaign that aims to sensitize the citizenry to actively play a role in protecting the peace and the stability of the state. This program, this flagship program, has always formed a key part of our national framework for preventing and countering terrorism and violent
extremism. The timing of its roll out, however, was informed by the need to institute more preventative measures in view of some unfortunate recent events in the West African region. The terrorism threat situation in the region has evolved to a point where a reliance on only conventional tactics and traditional means of combating the threat could prove ineffective. Terrorism, as perpetrated in the region and the Sahel, has now become highly unconventional and largely asymmetric. The terrorist groups who continue to wreak havoc in neighboring countries come in all shapes and forms, and many of them blend seamlessly into their target societies, thus making their identification and subsequent arrest by state security and intelligence agencies a very difficult endeavor. And it goes without saying that the support of the citizenry in informing state security and intelligence agencies on happenings in their localities where the terrorists are likely to hide and commit their atrocious crimes significantly reduces the threat of an attack in any country and in Ghana. The Say Something campaign, therefore, is a critical preventative measure by the Ministry of National Security and the other security ministries to, first of all, empower Ghanaians to be more conscious about their own security, and secondly, to enhance their relationship with state security authorities. The Say Something campaign is one of the many measures currently being undertaken by the ministry to safeguard the country against terrorism and violent extremism. Numerous kinetic and non-kinetic approaches continue to be implemented in that regard. Ghanaians must therefore be rest assured that the state security and intelligence architecture is working tirelessly to protect them against any such attack. But it is also important to state that the campaign is not aimed at creating panic among the citizenry. We certainly are not panicking. Rather, it is geared toward bolstering the confidence of the public to swiftly report suspicious activities in their communities to the relevant security and intelligence agencies. And let me also state that the security ministries are aware of the possible misinformation that could be targeted at creating fear and panic. As a result, The Say Something campaign shall be run concurrently with a vigorous campaign against any misinformation that seeks to create unnecessary fear and panic among the citizenry. The Ministry of National Security and the other security ministries are counting on you, the public, to take ownership of this campaign as a way of supporting state security and intelligence agencies to reduce the threat of an attack in Ghana. We, on our part, will do all we can to safeguard the peace and stability of our dear country. And I thank you very much for listening.
Good morning. Ago, Fia. Obiani Fia. Ago. When a child is called before his elders, he dare not name titles or call names lest he misses one and be made to pay a fine. So upon the blood and toil of our fathers, innumerable sweats of our mothers, I walk with my golden. On this last greenness that the Creator has given us. So I beat my chest not because I am arrogant, I am simply proud of my lineage as a Ghanaian. I salute you, revered greybeards, backs without which we have no front, tongues without which we have no song, heads without which Ghana would have nothing to eat and serve the rest of the world. And so I greet you, all my elders. I am simply a child learning the ropes of the world and the ways of his people. If you grant me audience, I have a simple message for our August house. Do I have your permission to speak? Ekwanda ho. Ago fi hey. Asemo ehu hia, eni esi hu nkonya na ebie so e obedwam. Enu nti na waje wadaje, maje me de, na nso ugina enwumu na megina wia so. Ofrɛ me na na asase, o mama konja bi wo fase. I'm the writer king who sips communion wine from the calabash. Obviously, I did not come to pour libation. This is an urgent matter. Control fi akokra osimi suma ni mani. Enti sabi ho bibia can be one kasa utiri ho an ebe yi wa yibone. And so when you see something, say something. Eya kokwa maninya kokko. Say yibunu a maninya bunu ekoye sika afa ya mpabo afa hye menan. Na me odehye. Ghana dehye. Hwe. Dia wo wa ne wo de, and so I say, let us not sell home to the highest bidder and engrave our names in the ashes, forgetting that this is the place where earth and sea and sky meet to share gossip. And in just a little while, all our memories as a civilization would have been blown away. Anybody dian papa tiase? Or him abani dian mama tiase inti. Amagana tiase me anyway. And say. She, do you share sunu wo krutia de na pampem pim no etwe ne betu kru finfin enye ono an sign fa tontun sansan board de ro say hey aduane aba obi am betwa bi ni enti sebe osre ni gina kono no wo a wugye afie wo e na obi soja ye de anu aduro ye de anu aduane no ba sebe wote ne yem komo a wanya bi adi mpeni kasa na me ne woka so abofra na me die. And so while our security forces do their very best, intelligence is not a matter of the field. Intelligence is a matter of strategy. And so the battle is not to the strongest, but it is to the smartest. And so even when you want to study, please do not study too hard. It might overweigh your brain. Please, study smart. The burdens of a great vision weigh the shoulders of the mind. Nti sabi, the opinion be who abroad that from no, abofra ehunu we chichiri. So while the intelligence does its best, it is you, citizen, who will peek out of the window and realize that there are shadows lurking somewhere in the light. Please call the alarm before it is too late. Or if you do not call, today it might be my turn. Tomorrow it might be yours. Before we know it, everything we have as a civilization is gone. But you see, the pride with which I walked in, not arrogance, behoves every single Ghanaian to play their own part. There's a reason why the East is the gate of the sun. When it has run its course, it goes to bed in the West. And so, the cock that crows to wake up the whole neighborhood belongs to one household. And so, if the East were to trap the sun, what would happen to our backyard in the West? What happens in the North when the sun comes up? It still sheds its rays. And so, the same God, who lights his lights in the sky and shares for every single corner, knows the reason why we need to hold all the ends just like an atom. And so, that the energy levels can hold. If the center gives way, what happens to Africa? If Ghana sheds, what happens to the rest of the world? This is the center of the world for a reason. And so, if you have your to stamp it down and say no to anybody who wants to topple our democracy, let's say no to anybody who wants to destabilize. Let's say no to anybody who wants to inflate the little peace that we seem to enjoy. Ghana, this hub, this gateway of Africa. And so our liberation is meaningless unless it is linked with the total liberation of Africa. And so what happens if we lose our freedoms? Africa goes down again. I go here. Berimani hina, the obot in freku. The oko couldn't sambe if you become conquering the Mosem and Nase. The ono, etine china, or couldn't you see your babacan in naturasem. Or Berimani the obot in freku couldn't sambe if you become conquering the Mosem. Or Kubriche mono, or Trey, Diaba. Ain't he? Penny for see. Diabesi peno, ye shed ya yen send na hodia to you go to Jim the Akadachi asem. But you see, today I chose to wear blue, the color of dreams, the color of sleep. And so when you sleep, when you have dreams, when you forebode the future, you do not wait until it gets to your doorstep. If you are when you know, which are soon Ghana is at a point. We have heard the statistics. We have seen what is going on around with our neighbors. This is an urgent call, but did not come to raise fear and panic. Send your hymn for Bekanasem. Send your bra for Bekanasem. Send your me, and as I say, or Mama Kwenjabi. Miss Mekasan. And he say, you want family, Miss Minyama family. What was a make I say, won't Casayo, Sabi Wetty, not just say, a Tobajum Masum. Macani ye, into whom be a day. Whom be bia, whom be bia, a Yakoqua, a Bunua, a Sika, fire and Pabua fashion on night is away of Ghana this year, Mappa. Now Pimo Bois, Yen who say Ampa. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Share. Make up. After Frushiamia, Bisami on my Ghana home penisem namin friendly of no Kunfun what shipon, penisem one Rebecca ye. Ebian one munushi, Nanso me swa, edesisa, edicoshia wana. Medium you also mafo. Obi di mechia oba. As I say, share. The friend yaw. A dank yin na yedi yaw, Nanso and Eddie, any brain number, you name ready yaw. Yes, you're yourself for some son home. Or Safo ya wasan and wasa mansan may be a candasa. Nana, into a dear Swadama, Musua. Ah, the beard is the broom with which the elders gather wisdom. When you meet an elder who taught no beard, he might have picked all of life's experiences. Sabi, yes, one to Conswabrewa, or Bakufo, and your Bakufo and Nana Abrewa, so as I see you in one community in a chiba. Beja, Utia from where was so, Utia from my also, Mati, Bem, and Prince Asso. And I'm now, Jane. Adarma, Ghana Yakrado, Ebimaya Crado. If you are singing a crado, Eja, why would you pump and pimsono, a train never took room finfini? You can hear, that's it. It's you are, I know.
Thank you sincerely, Nana Sase, for that patriotic presentation. The Honorable Minister for National Security, the Minister for Defense, Minister for Information, Service Chiefs and Heads of State, Security and Intelligence Agencies, Members of Parliament Select Committee for Defense and the Interior, members of the Diplomatic Corps present, chiefs and traditional authorities, heads of faith-based organizations, civil society groups, friends from the media, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Upon the attainment of independence, a feat which was achieved through the sacrifice and toil of our forefathers, subsequent generations to whom the new country called Ghana was bequeathed were tasked with one sacred duty: the duty to, at all times, protect the peace, stability, and territorial integrity of the state of Ghana. But for the extraordinary commitment of successive generations to this sacred duty, our dear country would have crumbled to a number of turbulent events in the past, which threatened to undermine its peace and stability before, during, and after independence. Our gathering here today, therefore, reminds us of the great sacrifices that our forebears made to keep this country safe. It provides yet another opportunity for us, who constitute the current generation, to renew our commitment to this holy duty assigned to us by our forebears. I am therefore honored to be here today as a keynote speaker for the launch of this all-important citizens awareness campaign dubbed See Something, Say Something campaign, aimed at enhancing public awareness towards safeguarding our country against the threat of terrorism and violent extremism, and a host of other threats that can potentially undermine our national security. Distinguished guests, we are a peaceful and a stable nation, despite our location in a volatile sub-region. This is evidenced by the outcome of the recent edition of the Global Peace Index, an index which ranks 163 independent states and territories according to their level of peacefulness, where Ghana was ranked the first in West Africa, second in Africa, and 38 in the world. First in West Africa, second in Africa, and 38 in the world. Indeed, per the reports of the Global Peace Index, Ghana has consistently been part of the top 3 peaceful countries in Africa in the past 5 years, reinforcing the status of a beacon of peace in the continent, an oasis of peace in the sub-region, a status that cannot and must not take for granted. It is for this reason that Ghana becomes attractive to the tourists. If anybody wants to attract the world press to itself, then the place to go is the one that has been acclaimed the best in West Africa, a sub-region that is turbulent. That said, however, we as a country are in an extraordinary moment in history. The security situation in our sub-region is rapidly deteriorating due to the spread of terrorism and violent extremism. For the first time in history, Ghana faces a serious risk of a spillover effect. Data from latest reports of Global Terrorism Index indicates that the Sahel region and West Africa have become the epicenter of terrorism and violent extremism. The report further highlighted that 3 of the 4 sub-Saharan African countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, that recorded the highest terrorism-related deaths in 2021 are located in West Africa. That is our region. The risk of possible terrorist attack that can be deduced from these grim statistics is further compounded by recent trends which suggest a southward drift of terrorism from the Sahel region to coastal West Africa. We talk about coastal West Africa, we're talking about Ghana, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. We faced the Gulf of Guinea. More worrying is the fact that all our neighbors along the Gulf of Guinea, Togo, Benin, and Ivory Coast have been severely hit by terrorists and extremist groups in recent times. Again, our northern frontier shares a border with extremist groups. And this border is also with Burkina Faso, a country that has been devastated by terrorist and extremist groups. It is also imperative to note that the rapid spread of terrorism and violent extremism from the Sahel region to coastal West Africa is underpinned by the quest for some terrorist groups to take control of resource-rich areas in the sub-region and gain access to the high seas in the Gulf of Guinea, to perpetrate illegal mining, piracy, respectively, all to generate funds to support their heinous terrorist activity. This description qualifies Ghana as a target. A convergence of these statistics and trends, considering Ghana's abundant gold resources and the access it has to the Gulf of Guinea, clearly indicates that our country remains a prime target for the terrorist groups. The fact that we have not been attacked yet not imply that we are eternally immune from a terrorist attack. Certainly not. Deliberate actions and conscious efforts, not only by our state security and intelligence agencies, but also all Ghanaians and persons within the country's jurisdiction, are required to keep the terrorists away. If we are going to succeed in this fight, it is everybody's action. Everybody must get involved to protect our motherland. Indeed, the primary responsibility of the state is to protect the citizenry against threats that can adversely affect their lives and livelihoods. In that regard, government continues to support the Ministries of National Security, Defense and Interior, and other relevant state authorities in myriad ways to implement measures towards safeguarding the state against terrorism and violent extremism. For instance, at the start of this year, government committed to increasing security sector expenditure as a percentage of GDP towards resourcing and retooling state security intelligence agencies to enhance their capacities in combating terrorism and other security threats. Thankfully, the retooling of the state security and intelligence agencies is underway and has yielded some good results. We congratulate the national security and its varied
apparatus for good work done so far. Additionally, government in 2018 authorized and supported the development of the national framework for preventing and countering terrorism to guide national plans as actions to prevent, preempt, and respond effectively to threats of terrorism and violent extremism. Again, in June 2021, government authorized and supported the Ministry of National Security to launch the country's final ever national security strategy to provide a coordinated framework of response to internal, external, and as well as the emerging security threats that confront the nation. It is stating that these two key documents are all consistent with the United Nations Global Counterterrorism Strategy, which advocates for a whole of government and a whole of society approach in mitigating the threat of terrorism and violent extremism. The approach cannot be that of the National Security Ministry alone. The approach is all hands on deck. The whole of society approach, in particular, encourages the active involvement and the active participation of all citizens in protecting the state against terrorism and violent extremism. The approach also promotes the building of a trust and effective collaboration between citizenry and state security authorities. We need to cooperate. We need to relate. We need to support the security apparatus to fight this. More importantly, the whole of society approach advocates a heightened sense of security consciousness among citizenry through mass public education and sensitization and the roles they can play to protect the peace and stability of the nation. As the Minister of Information made it clear, at COVID, collectively, we stood together and fought it, and we were largely successful. This is why the Citizens Awareness Campaign dubbed See Something, Say Something campaign, which is to be launched today, remains crucial. See Something, Say Something campaign. The campaign aims to increase the security awareness of citizens and persons within Ghana's territorial space and empower same to report suspicious activities within their surroundings to the relevant state security agencies. As part of the campaign, a toll-free number, 999, has been provided for citizens to swiftly report suspicious activities to state security authorities. Additionally, the active lines of the Ghana Police Service and the social media platforms have been incorporated into the campaign for use by citizens to draw the attention of the state agencies to unusual activities within our communities. In areas where mobile connectivity or internet access remain a challenge, the campaign will seek to sensitize locals to report suspicious activities to their local police, chiefs, district chief executives, heads of faith-based organizations, leadership of all political parties, and opinion leaders who can expedite action to arrest the situation. It's all hands on deck. Further, the Minister of National Security and the Minister of Information would collaborate with the media, faith-based organizations, traditional authorities, civil society organizations, influential people in society, among others, to continuously sensitize the public. It is important that the public is on top of what is happening within their neighborhood. The threat of the campaign is to get citizenry to understand that our collective security is a collective responsibility of all. That regardless of our ethnic, religious, and political differences, we as Ghanaians have a collective duty to protect our state against terrorism and violent extremism. We know that the terrorist groups, wherever they succeeded, exploited ethnic, religious, and political void, illness to unleash terror on the people. If we are together, we are stronger. Cognizant of this fact, and with the benefit of examples in neighboring countries where terrorism have rendered them nearly ungovernable, we must put our differences aside and confront this threat with unity of purpose. Clearly, in the face of such a deadly threat, we cannot afford to trivialize the issues and remain divided as a people. Now, more than ever, we must come together for our success to prevent a terrorist attack that lies in our ability to remain united as a people. One nation, one people, one destiny. Let me also assure the good people of Ghana that government on its part would continue to do all it can to protect peace and stability of our dear country. The state, security, and intelligence agencies shall remain vigilant at all times, manning our borders, patrolling our communities, and collaborating with agencies of neighboring countries to prevent terrorist attack in Ghana. As citizens, the responsibility placed on us by the See Something, Say Something campaign resonates well with the enduring words of our national patriotic song, Yengara Asasini. Indeed, this is our land, and just as our forefathers sacrificed to protect it, the time has come for us to replicate a similar patriotic duty to safeguard same through unity of purpose. Against the threat of terrorism and violent extremism, we must continue to protect our nation. Let us do this for ourselves, our families, our communities, and our dear nation. And when we succeed in this endeavor, posterity shall remain kind to us. Our children and our children's children will say, well done. On this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I declare the Ministry of National Security's Citizen Awareness Campaign, also known as See Something, Say Something, duly launched. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate your presence. And I think you've said a lot. You've said enough. The most important thing is that when you see something, you say something. The short code 999. And we should be more observant and vigilant and develop particular interest in non-residents mobilizing around our communities. That is to say that if you go to your church service and you see someone with a backpack dropped in the church, you have to draw the attention of the authorities there. The same thing must happen if you go to the mosque In your community, if you're an iced water seller and you identify someone who doesn't live in your community, mobilizing young men and women to cause any kind of mayhem, you should draw the attention of the authority. In fact, this is a national campaign devoid of politics. It doesn't matter which political party you belong, whether you are NPP or NDC. It doesn't matter the religious sect you belong, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or a traditionalist. It is important that we all play our parts in ensuring that this becomes a success. At the end of the day, is to defend our own selves. And so because of that, I think we are very proud to have the minority leader himself, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, also grace this occasion. We really do appreciate your time, Honorable Idrisu, especially because we know that Parliament is in session, and for you to come to this place at this particular time, we know how important you attach to this. It's time now to officially launch our See Something, Say Something official video. And so I call on Honorable James Agalga, MP, Bulsa North, who is also the ranking member of Parliamentary Committee for Defense and Interior, to launch our video for us. Honorable.
Thank you very much. Honorable former Senior Minister, Honorable Minister for National Security, Defense, the heads of the various security agencies, members of Parliament, present, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to launch the video, but before I do so, I'd like to, in my capacity as the ranking member for the Select Committee for Defense and Interior, to commend the Minister for National Security for rolling out this important initiative. I mean, this is not the first time such an initiative is being rolled out to counter the threat of terrorism. I remember that not too long ago, we converged at the same venue for the launching of the National Security Strategy. And even before then, sometime in 2019, this same outfit once again spearheaded the launch of the National Framework for Preventing and Countering Violent Extremism and Terrorism. And all these initiatives are geared towards protecting our country against the terror threat. I just like to note that, terrorism is real, and it is our collective effort if we have to succeed in the fight against terrorism. That is why you see the minority heavily represented at this forum. Honorable Minister, you can count on us for support in all the measures you are rolling out to counter terrorism. And so on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to officially outdoor the video for this initiative. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Over the years, Ghana has enjoyed relative peace and stability, making our country an oasis of peace and stability in the West African sub-region. This is a duty for every Ghanaian.
Shugaban kasa da ilimin yan sanda na gurgudan aikin su kamar da ya kamata. Kasan mu Ghana na cikin kwanciyar hankali ba gurgudan karfin mu ba kuma ba iyawan mu ba. Yana kan ilimin yan sandan da suke aikin su kamar da ya kamata.
But they can do better if as citizens we actively support them, because the criminals live with us in our communities.
Mudore mataki jama'a in ka gan wani abu ka fadi wani abu.
Onuya yenya hweye adwini na sewuhu se bibia tochima. Aya.
Be vigilant at all times. If you see something, say something. Call 999 or quickly inform the police or a community leader.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the official video. See something, say something. I think it is important that we all pick our phones. For a start, I want to see everybody pick their phone. If you're on Twitter, that's the hashtag. Let's do the hashtag, see something, say something. I'm going to do that now on my Twitter handle. And Information Minister, I think you're doing that now. Okay. So if you're not on Twitter or anything of that sort, just go to the official hashtag of the Information Minister. And then what you can do is share. If you're on Twitter, you retweet. If you're on Instagram, Mr. Minister, you're going to do the same thing on Instagram and Facebook as well. That's good. Thank you very much. Now it's time to listen to the official campaign song for See Something, Say Something. Martin King Arthur, he's popularly known as Kofi Kinata, our own son, a Ghanaian musician and songwriter from Takoradi. He's noted for his Fanti rap, freestyle, and therefore known as the Fanti rap god. Ladies and gentlemen, Kofi comes right now for this performance. Kofi Kinata.
Hello. Arakodo. Watch your stage, you know.
Stage, no, Olokodo. Baby, Wumbi. Ziwagor.
DJ. Watch our fans, so won't see. You're going to lyrics, you know. Kofi Kinata. Arakodo.
Hey, Ghana wa motherland. Any baby, I go ahead. Yeah, man. Inti Asomani kakra ya wawan. Ya kule ya soli yenyina na ya maomba. The world they change I say. Things they happen every day. The signs are clear, so stay away. Don't you say it's far away. See what's the wood another. Kada soli fiado. If you would another. If you are not able to feel. Inti be vigilant. You for observe. Ya kobia. Say something if you see something, my friend. If you see something, you for say something, I beg. Say something if you see something, my friend. If you see something, you for say something, I beg. It be vigilant, you for observe, say something. You see something. For say something, be vigilant, you for observe, say something. You see something, for say something. The peace and stability we get in the community. You know, like you be enemy. What else is security? Who be security? Me and you for security. Anything you do suspect, report out. Stay vigilant at all time. Who did you 999 be the call line. The pass to Mudia for your ball over park. They are for ball over club. You didn't get fire truck Sunday and Mutu was special. This year, why will you tear? The Ghana your love and the people you love. Hospitality we day on top. Ghana they be there, of course. Before protect this peace at all costs. Say something if you see something, I bet. If you see something, you for say something, I beg. Say something if you see something, my friend. Obia. If you see something, you for say something. I beg. If you be vigilant, say something. If you see something, I beg. For say something. If you see something. I be supposed to find something. If you see something, I beg. Say something. If you see something. You for observe. I'm the way to work a guitar. Thank you.
Say something, see something. See something.
One let's show you, man.
See something, say something. I beg.
Thank you.
A round of applause for Kofi Kinata. See something, say something. 999 is the line to call. I think it's been a very interesting program. The most important thing is for all of us to be very committed to ensuring that this becomes a success so that we can protect ourselves as a nation. Let's hear the vote of thanks by the Chief Director of the Ministry for National Security. Chief Director? Yep. Thank you.
Honorable Yao Osafumafu, honorable ministers and distinguished guests, I take this opportunity to say a big thank you to our keynote deliverer, Honorable Yao Osafumafu, for the excellent address. We must all commit to protect the peace and security of our country. Honorable, we are grateful that you took time off your busy schedule to join us on this August occasion. I would also like to say a big thank you to General Ochri, the National Security Advisor to the President, for his continuous support to this cause. I recognize the distinguished leaders of our legislature. May I take this opportunity once again to acknowledge all of you, and especially the Parliamentary Select Committee for Defense and Interior, for your continuous support. We have a host of ministers of state present. It warms our heart to have you support us as we work together for the good of our nation, Ghana. Thank you, honorable ministers, for coming. A special appreciation goes to the Ministers of National Security and for Information for their collaboration in this regard. Honorable Ministers, thank you so much for fronting this campaign. We look forward to working with you the more, and even as we launch the program today. We express our profound appreciation to all service commanders, present, the various chairs of the RECSEX across the country, and members of the National Security Advisory Board for the work you do, and even for honoring us with your time and presence. To the chairmen and leaders of the political parties who are present and who keep our democracy afloat, we do not take your support for granted at all. Our revered clergymen, imams and traditional leaders, NGOs and civil society organizations, thank you for staying with us on this course. These are not ordinary times, to quote the President of the Republic. We are counting on your prayers and support to keep the peace and stability of our nation. To our ambassadors who are present here, the media, the work has just begun. We appreciate your decision to come on board, and we trust that you use your influence to help send the message far and wide. To end, I would like to thank all for coming and being part of this campaign, and especially the Ghana Police Band and the Kete Group for their performance, not forgetting Say Something by Kofi K. Always remember to be vigilant at all times, and if you see something, we must surely say something. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Chief Director. For members of the media, I think it is important for all of us to come to an agreement, basically. I mean, in running this campaign, if we're going to take bills from you, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for us to succeed. We know how expensive it is, to run a campaign like that. But as long as this campaign is a national duty, we please beg you to support this campaign. Play it for free on your radio and television networks for us. Distribute it for free on your social media platforms for us. Of course, I'm sure the Ministry of Defense, together with the National Security Ministry, would always support in one way or the other. But we all have our own responsibilities to ensure that this one becomes a success. At the end of the day, it is ensuring that we keep our nation clean, safe, devoid of any attacks whatsoever. We began this program with a Christian prayer, and so shall we end it with a Muslim prayer, calling on Sheikh Arimiyao Shaibu, spokesperson for the National Chief Imam, to say the closing prayer for us and also commit this campaign into the hands of Allah. Sheikh.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Almighty Allah, Almighty God, we give you thanks and praises in a manner that is most deserving of your holiness and highness. Thank you for life and thank you for good health. Thank you for a bright morning like this. Thank you for care. Thank you for security. And thank you for the attention that you have given us all this period. We have met here this morning to launch a campaign as a form of fight against the threat of terrorism. Almighty Allah, we are a nation that cherishes our peace and security. We cherish life. We uphold the sanctity of the human blood. And in this respect, we ask you to be the one who drives this campaign to success. We, as humans, as we show our commitment to be part of the process, strengthen us with a spirit to be dutiful to you as we protect the nation that you have chosen to give us by your favors and grace. Inspire us with a lot of ideas. Protect our president, protect all of our ministers, our national installations, protect our places of worship, protect our children, protect our elderly, protect our wives, our women, protect the weak of our society. Keep us in strength of our minds. Inspire us with new ideas as terrorism comes in different forms. Let us understand the dynamics
and our security experts. Fill them with the understanding that all the time they can guide us as to what we do. Thank you for protecting us for all the time, and even now, as you protect us in the future, we are confident you will continue to protect us. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
I think the police band is actually in a hurry to get us out, all of us here, out of here. But I think it is important for us to know that there are personalities or ambassadors who are committed to this project, to ensuring that it becomes a success. And so, Mr. Minister, I think it is important we call all of them so that we have a handshake with them. There are quite a number of them. Of course, some of them may not be here, obviously, because of their work. Kofi Kinata, who did our official song for us, is one of our ambassadors for this campaign. Dr. Lauren Stete, who is here, is also one of our ambassadors. Kofi, please, go up and take a handshake with the ministers. Yeah. Jifa Bampo, a broadcaster, who is here also. Kwame Sefakai, a broadcaster. Sheikh Arimiyao. Kafui Day, a broadcaster. Omanhin Kwabena Asante, also a broadcaster. Na Ashoko, also a broadcaster. Samini, a musician. Gifty Osei, also a gospel musician. Osei Bonsu of Asempa FM. And Nana Abba Anamwa, also a broadcaster. Thank you very much, ambassadors. Thanks so much for this commitment in ensuring that it becomes a success. Gifty Adoye, right. Okay. Honorable Ministers, thanks so much for your presence in ensuring that our country is safe for the launch of See Something, Say Something. And to you, members of the general public, please ensure that you keep tweeting and sharing the hashtag Say Something, See Something, Say Something on your social media handles and platforms. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time. Police band. And may the grace of God be with us all. Amen.
Ghana wa motherland, baby baby go ahade ayaman, into Asomani kakra ya wawan. Yan ya kule yan soli yina na ya maoba. The world they change, oh, I say.
And ladies and gentlemen, there's lunch under the tent, please.